I'm so glad to have you joining me today. If you're new here, my name is Bridget and I thank you so much for stopping by. So what I'm going to be doing today, I am going to be working back here on my back deck. I'm trying to bring this deck around and make it look like fall. Up until last night, I've still had flags and red geraniums and ferns and red, white, and blue. And so I came through here last night and got all that stuff taken care of. So now I'm just kind of stuck with a shell of a deck that I'm going to try to transform into fall. So I've got lots of mums and some pumpkins. And I actually have a fun little DIY that I'm going to share with you. Just a fall DIY. It's very simple, not hard to do. And I'm going to share that with you. But the first thing I'm going to do is try to get these mums planted in some dirt, the ones that I'm going to plant. Some of them I'm probably just going to set down in some of my buckets. But I'm going to get that done first. I've got cushions to cover, some pillow covers that I ordered from Amazon that I need to change out. So I've got lots to do today. So this stuff has been sitting out here on my deck for a couple of weeks, these mums and pumpkins. So today is the day I'm going to get this done, because if I don't hurry up, fall's going to be over with. I'm not even going to be able to enjoy it. So I'm going to get busy working on that. And the first thing I'm going to do is get these mums planted. So let me get busy doing that. So I'm going to start here on this corner. And when I bought these mums, probably 3 weeks ago, they were still tightly budded up. And they were supposed to be a burnt orange color. Well, now that they've opened up, they're more of a golden color. And are they my favorite? No. But am I going to use them? Yes. But I wish that they were the burnt orange, but they're not. But let's just get this planted. Well, the good thing about it, what's going to make this easy, is most of these containers already had dirt where I had either a fern or geranium in them. So this will be easy to plant these. So that's got this one. Now, let me think where we want to work next. Okay, I think I'm going to work over here a little bit. And I've just got these 3 baskets along here. And since these have handles, I can't put my mom in those. But I got this little basket without a handle. And instead of planting this one, it seems to be doing well in this pot. It looks really good and green, and it's blooming well. So I'm just going to leave it in here. And I'm just going to set it down in this basket. See if we need to turn it. And this one's still got a little blooming to do, so it ought to stay pretty for a while. Okay. And I'm not sure if I'm going to leave this asparagus fern here. I've got some pumpkins. I may try to add some pumpkins on top of here. And let's see, this shelf, it may not be wide enough for me to use another mum, but let me try it and see. Yeah, it'll sit there, but I want to set this down inside something. So let me see what I can come up with. Now, I don't know if this crock, oh yeah, that'll be okay. And this crock, I've had it sitting on the bottom shelf on my front porch. You couldn't really notice it, but it has a bad crack. That's why I've got it on the front porch. But now I'm going to move it back here, and I'm going to try to set one of these mums down inside here, but I may need to put something inside it to make the mum set up a little higher. Maybe one of my little clay pots. Now, that's a little bit too tall. I think this little clear plastic container should work just right. Yeah, that'll be just fine. Now, maybe instead of all these summery looking clay pots, we'll try to put some pumpkins up here. Let's see. It's so pretty out here today, y'all. I know the last time I was doing my front porch, I was complaining because I was so hot. but it's actually beautiful out here. I think the high's like 74 or 5 today. So I've actually got on a little bit of a sleeve. It feels good out here today. All right, I bought a few pumpkins, and let's see which one we want to use. And maybe see what that looks like. Not sure I like the 2 pumpkins. I kind of like the watering can mixed with that because I love this rust color that's rusting on this watering can with these mums. I think that looks cute. I like that. All right. I think we're okay for here. We may come back and add something later, but let me work on getting the rest of these mums planted. Well, I think I'm going to try to figure out what I want to do on top of this old pie safe. I don't think I'm going to use these watering cans. And I've got an idea of what I'm going to do over here in this corner. I've already hung this corn huskery, and I've got an idea of what I'm going to do over here. But for now, let's take these down. Well, I've got a crock that I had sitting on the shelf that I just worked on. I think I'm going to try to set a mum down in here. Let's see. Now these are the ones that's been sitting out here for a little while. They're not as pretty. They're still alive. They're just not as pretty. For some reason, they just didn't do as good. You can see they're kind of getting a little brown. But I bought them, so we're going to use them. We're going to try to see if we can nurse them back. And I got this wonderful pumpkin. Oh my goodness, I loved this pumpkin with this big stem. And I love the color of it. So I'm going to try and just set it right there in the middle. And, well, I think that looks okay up there. All right, now. So I told you guys I have an idea for this space right here. About a week and a half ago, I made the cutest little scarecrow out of a gourd and some tobacco sticks, and it was so simple. So I've made a quick little DIY video on how I made that, and I'm going to share that with you first, and then when we get back, I'll show you what I'm going to do with them. Well, guys, I'm going to try my hand at making a scarecrow. I had the cutest little scarecrow that I had made several years ago, and it fell a couple years ago and busted its face. I had it made out of a gourd. So now I'm going to try to make another one. And this one's going to be pretty simple, so I thought I would share it with you, and maybe y'all might want to make one. And all you're going to need is a couple of tobacco sticks, and I've already cut my tobacco sticks so that I can make his little arms. They don't need to come out too far. And then I've taken my longer tobacco stick, and what I'm using, you can use a base, whatever you want to build a base out of. This is an old base. It's an old piece of wood that was on the bottom of a candle dryer that I had. Don't have the top to it anymore. I don't know what happened to that, but I thought, well, I'll use this for my base. So I have just hammered my stick down in here really hard so that my base is good and sturdy. And now I think the first thing I need to do is attach his arms. And what we're going to do after we do that, we will put this is just a feed sack, a burlap feed sack. If you don't have a feed sack, you could just get you some burlap material at Hobby Lobby or Walmart, usually has it. We're just going to make this little outfit out of this burlap feed sack. And then his head is going to be made out of this big round gourd that I have. That's going to be his head. But first, let's get the arms attached. So I've got my drills, my little drill bit. So there shouldn't be too much to do to this. And I've already drilled a drill hole. I've already, like a pilot hole, because these tobacco sticks are pretty hard. Let me see if I can get this in here. I'm going backwards. Now, one screw is all we need, so that wasn't bad. Now we're going to put his little outfit on. Let me kind of turn him around so y'all can see. And if it's a little bit crooked, that's okay. All right, now get the scissors. And we want this to hang up here, but we need to cut down this side so his arms will have a place to hang out. And I'm just cutting along the edge and making just a little place where the stick will come out for his arms. And we can tweak that and cut it up higher if we need to. We'll just see how that does. Like I said, I'm trying to do this the simplest way I know how. And I'm making this for my back deck because I think it'll last better if I can keep it up under cover so the weather doesn't get to it. So I'm making this. I'm about to start decorating my deck tomorrow, and I wanted to have a little scarecrow to put out there. And I thought my little grandkids would like him too. All right, now we've also got to cut a hole in the center. Where the stick can come out. This is going to be a little tricky to get this side in. Maybe not. Yeah, let's see here. I may have to turn it a little bit. That's the good thing with just using one screw. I can twist it. Then I can raise his little outfit up and tighten it back up if I need to. I'd say the hardest thing about making this thing is going to be getting his little outfit on. Yeah, I'm just going to slit this up a little higher. Now then, that looks better. Okay, so we'll do a little bit of gathering on his little outfit he's got on here. But the first thing I want to do now, I want to get his little head on. But before I put his head on, what I'm going to do, I am going to cut this old stem off of this gourd, and I'm going to hot glue this big, beautiful dried pumpkin stem that I have. I think that's going to look so cute on there. So, let me see, these usually come off pretty easy. Let me just see if I can. Oh, yeah. All right. I'm sure hubby's probably got a tool that would do this so easy, but he's not here, so I'm using a saw blade kitchen knife. I do have this little, I think they call this thing a rasp. Maybe I can, I just want to get this kind of flat so that I can glue my pumpkin stem on here. So I'm just going to hot glue this stem. Already got my hot glue gun heated up. I'm going to put lots of hot glue because it's going to need it. Let that dry good. Now how cute is he? And once we get that on top of there, it's going to be so cute. We need to let that set for a minute though, make sure that that gets good and dry. And while that's drying, before I put the head on, I've got another thing that I'm going to put on him. Now, I have had this forever. This is something I made a long time ago, and it's just some little gourds, and these were some little hickory nuts that I picked up out in the woods, and I just drilled holes in them. It's just little tiny gourds with little hickory nuts, and they're kind of, you can tell how dry they are. I've had this forever. And I just strung them on a wire. So I'm going to put that around his neck, or her neck. Maybe this is a she. So I'm just going to twist my wire and all right. So now I've got to drill a hole in the bottom of this gourd. And before Ricky left a few minutes ago, he got me fixed up with the drill, and this little bit, this is what he put on my drill for me to drill a hole in the bottom of this gourd. I don't even know what you call this thing, but he says that's what I need, so that's what I'm going to use. So this is our front. Now, what we're going to do is, let's draw his little waist up and tie this up. I've got some string. So I ain't got my string, and this is just some jute string. And let's just tie this in a knot so it doesn't come undone. Now, if you wanted to put a face on him, you could. I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it without a face. But I'm not finished with him yet. Now, I want to do something to his arms. Let me roll this little card out of the way a little bit. And what I'm going to do here, now I just went out and picked up some sticks that had fallen out of the trees. And I'm just going to cut off a few of these shorter pieces. And I'm going to wire tie them onto the ends of his arms. So let's cut us off some pieces. Just be able to break them easier. And all we're going to do is put a wire tie around the end of this to wire tie his little arms on here. And if you want his arms to hang down, you can wire tie them where they hang more down. Kind of looks like a little, I don't know, just gives them a little more character. So let's run a wire tie around that. I think I want mine to hold his arms down a little bit more. And then after we do this, we'll cover up this wire tie with some more of this jute string. Okay. It's one side. And y'all, I think I saw this cute little picture. I had it saved in my Halloween things a long time ago on Pinterest. So I'm just kind of, doesn't look exactly like that one did, but it's close, and I loved that cute little picture. Somebody had it in their yard. So, may need another stick. Let's wire tie these on. This is probably the simplest project I've ever made. Once you have all your little supplies, I just went outside and gathered up most of everything I needed. And Mama had some more of these. We had gotten a bunch of tobacco sticks one time, and we still had some of those left. All right. So that was easy. That only took me probably 15 or 20 minutes to make, and it wasn't hard at all. Just needed a couple of tools and some sticks and some tobacco sticks and a gourd. And you wouldn't even have to do the stem if you didn't want to, but I just thought it kind of made it look a little cuter. And some burlap, so that's a pretty easy DIY for fall. So we'll take him upstairs and see what he looks like on my back deck. So here's a little better view of him. You can see the base I used was just a big chunk of wood. Just tied his little waist in. His little arms are just sticks. We just covered that wire tie up with some string, just some little rope. And I just really love that big old stem. I think that stem just kind of sets him off. And this is just some little gourds that I had strung. Now, if you wanted to add some corn or something in here, some of the little stalky things, whatever, again, I always get confused on that. If you wanted to add some of that or just whatever you wanted to do, you could. But I think he looks cute just like he is. Okay, I hope you guys, some of you will try that video, and there's still plenty of fall time left, so I hope you guys will maybe give that a try. It's really simple. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to move one of these barrels, and I'm going to set him up here. And the reason I'm setting him up high, when I made this, and if you guys, when you get ready, if you do decide to make one, try to find you a taller stick, a tobacco stick. Tobacco sticks usually are about the same height, even if you have to use some other kind of piece of wood or stick to mount him on, because you really don't see you don't really see that stick much. So you could use anything that you can get taller, because I really want him to be taller. So this way, by setting him here on this little box, he's going to appear taller. And I think he looks so cute sitting beside this corn husk wreath. Now I think if I had a mum right here, that's really going to look good with him sitting here. So let me find a mum and something to set it in. So I think if I use this bucket and plant this mum down inside here, that'll be just about right. So I'm going to do that right quick. I'm going to plant this mum. I always set out and I say I'm going to plant all my mums. I'm going to have this certain little steps that I follow. It never happens. I always end up getting sidetracked. And I usually, I mean, there's still plenty of fall time left, because I usually leave out my fall things until the day after Thanksgiving. And then I start putting up my Christmas. So I've still got plenty of time left to enjoy this. Well, I think that looks pretty. I think you look pretty there, little guy. I like it. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Okay, and I think I'm going to, in this corner, I used to have a big fern that sat right here in this little galvanized container. And I think I'm going to try to scoot my barrel out just a bit and put my corn stalks in behind. And this is the last bigger mum that I have. Okay. So I think I've got a cute little idea for this trough here. I bought this last spring at the Great Junk Hunt in Nashville, and then I used it for my geraniums this summer out here. And of course I've got it sitting in this little old red base, And I think what I'm going to do is fill this with some gourds. I've got tons of gourds. Maybe add some dries in here with it. So let me grab all my gourds. I think I've got them in a big black bag. And I was over at Mama's the other day, and I found this grapevine growing back in the edge of her woods. So I cut me some of this, and I think I'm going to try to put some of this down here in the bottom. Start laying these gourds in here. Alright, so now these are the pillow covers that I ordered from Amazon. I bought one, these came 2 in a pack, and they're 12 inches by 20 inches. And I have a pillow form to go on that one. I don't know, I think that's going to be pretty mixed with that kind of royal navy blue looking color. And I bought 2 packs of these, and these are 2 18 by 18 inch pillows, which is this size. So I have the pillows for these that I used last year for spring and summer. So I'm going to take these out. Okay. And I will put down in my description box the link to these pillows. And the best thing about ordering these, they're very inexpensive. So these come 2 in a pack. And I've got 4 of these pillows, the blue and white checks that I'm going to take the covers off of. So let's get these first one stuffed. If I can find the zipper. I used to sit down every season, go find fabric, get my sewing machine out and cover pillows and sew pillows every year. And then since I've discovered this cheaper way to do it, and a lot better with my time, I've gotten to where I'll just get these little pillow covers. Now, if y'all will remember, for those of you that watched my video of my front porch, this is the same pillows that I used out there. But I thought, well, I'm just going to kind of continue it out onto my deck. So now what I'm going to do, I told you guys I was going to try to just leave the blue cushions out there on my big chairs that I have. And then I had on the glider, I had this red color. And that was just perfect for summer with my flags and you know, all the colors, my red geraniums. That looked great. But it's not going to look so good with gold mums and orange pumpkins. It's not going to look so good. So I'm going to do a quick little cover on these pillows, and I'm going to use Gail Reeder's trick that she showed us back, I don't know how long it's been a long time ago, but how we can do this in a quick way without any sewing. All we need is your fabric, scissors, and safety pins. So, because this is only going to last through, because I will be taking this fabric off of these when I get ready to decorate for Christmas. And I've got tons of this blue fabric that is almost identical to the blue I have on the cushions in my chair. So I'm going to use this fabric. So let's just see how easy this really is. So the first thing I'm going to do is just roll out some fabric. Now this fabric is a little bit wrinkled. All right, so I think, let me unfold it because it's folded in half like fabric always is. And we just need to, probably going to be just perfect. We can fold our fabric in half. It's almost like wrapping a present. So I just want to leave plenty down here on my ends so that I can fold it over and pin it. Y'all, this is so easy to do. So get this straight so I can cut it. Because if you try to price cushions, first of all, they're hard to find this time of year. And they're just very expensive. And these are perfectly good cushions. We're just gonna make them blue instead of red. All right, so I'm just gonna start by folding over my first side. And I'm just gonna get some safety pins. Get my glasses because I can't do anything. I can't see anything without my glasses. That's what happens after you get a certain age. You can't see anything close up. And it works better if you use a little bigger safety pin. So let's start by all we're going to do is just pin these in a few places. Okay. Maybe we'll do one more up here. We're going to fold this side. Make sure we got it good and tight. Let's fold this side. Okay. Now, we're just going to wrap these ends and fold them over just like it was a Christmas present. So we're just going to fold this just like you would if you were wrapping a present. Kind of smooth it out. And just pin it. So we've got one end done. Fold it in, because this side's never going to be seen. It's going to be laying against the back of my little glider. Okay. So now I'm going to add in my orange check pillows. Yeah, it's starting to look like fall. All right, now let's add our pillows to the glider. So now I'm going to add in the pillows that we covered just a little bit ago with the blue fabric. I'm going to add those in. Because I think this color blue, because I didn't want to have to make black cushions or beige cushions, something that would go with fall. So I decided just to leave my blue cushions out here, cover these that were red in this blue, and then I think the orange check looks pretty mixed with that blue. And that's good enough for me. Now let me get my pillows that go on here. But first, I've got this throw, kind of matches the pillows good, this burnt orange throw. And I've had it folded up in the closet because I really don't have this color anywhere in the house. So I thought, well, that'd be perfect for fall. And now, this is one of the pillows that we covered earlier. And I've got this little pillow here. This is another pillow that I had made with some fabric I had. And of course, it's the dark blue. So I think it'll be pretty sitting here. And then maybe. Now over here, I added a couple of things. I added these two mums in this basket. Now these are the two mums I had that aren't looking so great, but I'm hoping I can kind of maybe nurse them back a little bit. Then I added a pumpkin, and I set this barrel over here on top of this little, I don't know what you call that thing, this big wooden box thingy. And I had that barrel over there where I set my Scarecrow. So I set the barrel up here, added a watering can, and then I added a couple of my checkered pillows here in my black iron chairs. And then over here, I did add a couple more things. I added a couple of dried sunflower pods that my mama gave me. And I decided to add this little asparagus fern that I had potted in one of these little clay pots. I thought, you know what? It's still pretty, and I think it looks pretty. It adds a little something in here mixed with these mums. So I added that, and then I added this little punch tin lantern. So I think I'm done over here. And I think all I have left to do is work on something for the center of my little sawbuck table that I have out here. So I think once I do that, I'll be finished. Now, I think the last thing I like is putting something on this sawbuck table. And I'm going to start with one of these old rugs. Okay. And you guys will probably remember, I bought this old carrier last year when I went to Ohio last spring. I bought this in Cambridge City, and I had flower pots in here through the spring. And what I got to put in here for fall, I've got a bunch of these little pie pumpkins. But one of my viewers gave me the best idea, and I wished I could remember now. The way YouTube works, a lot of times I'll see comments from you guys, but it won't say your name on there. It'll have some kind of, I guess, your YouTube ID or something, so I don't really know. Sometimes I don't know who it is that I'm responding to or what your name is, but somebody sent me a little tip to get some, because I was looking for stuff to go in the bottom that looks like, I don't know what that stuff is called. It's called primitive grass, and I tried to find some on Amazon, couldn't find any. So somebody gave me a tip to use coconut hair. Okay, let me show y'all what that looks like. Okay, I ordered this off of Amazon, and thank you so much for whoever sent in this tip. I think it's going to work. I haven't tried it yet, but it is just, let me show you a closer picture. It's just brown coconut hair, but I think it's going to look so good when I kind of lay it in here in my carrier. So let's see what this does. It's probably kind of messy, but I'm just going to kind of stretch it apart because it's going to kind of look fall looking. And you know, this stuff was very inexpensive on Amazon. This little light fixture's in my way. This stuff was not expensive at all, and I will put the link in my description box if anybody wants to order any of this. So this is my first time working with it. So we'll see what it looks like. I think I'm going to like it with these pumpkins in here. And I've still got another bunch left. And I've got this in here pretty thick. You probably wouldn't even have to put it in here this thick. So you could probably get by with a whole lot less. But I'll put how much I ordered and how much it was. And I'm going to think it wasn't more than, it may have been, it was $12 to $15 for this big bag. And I've still got lots left. And it was on Amazon. All right, so now what we're going to do is try to lay these. And the good thing about these pumpkins, the size that they are, they're just going to kind of sit right down in there. They're not going to go all the way to the bottom. Oh, this is looking so cute. I love this. That was a good idea. So let me clean up my mess, and I'm going to give you a closer view of what that looks like. Well, that just looks so cute. You can see, you can just pull it apart, and I mean, there's a lot of it that comes in that bag. It's kind of hard to see with these shadows, but it's really cute. Well, guys, I think that about wraps it up for today. I'm finished with my fall decorating. I think completely finished. I've done my porch, my house, and now my back deck. So I think I'm done. So now this is mid-October, so it won't be long, guys. We'll be decorating for Christmas. It seems like those seasons just roll around so fast. It's a good thing I enjoy decorating because we sure do it pretty often. But anyway, guys, I thank you for joining me today. And if you're enjoying my videos, I would appreciate it. If you haven't already, to subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you here with me. And maybe just like my videos and share them. It really helps my channel. And I appreciate it so much. I appreciate all of your sweet comments every week, guys. I really do. I read every one of them. I may not always respond because I run out of time, but I always do read all of them, and I thank you so much. And I just hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you guys in the next one.